The Attorney General, Lord Homer, has declined to review lenient sentences for child sex offenders and rapists. This is the same man who advocated for selling off Chagos and recently drew comparisons of anyone who supported withdrawing from the ECHR to 1930s Nazi Germans. I'm Alex Armstrong and this is GBN Originals. While Lucy Connolly, a mother and a wife of a Conservative councillor, is locked up for tweeting something vile after the Southport murders, is serving 31 months in prison with her appeal denied, dangerous rapists and paedophiles are spending less time in prison and in some cases aren't even going to prison at all. At all. Think about that for a second. Take the case of Jamie Daniels from Droitwich, who was spared jail after pleading guilty to attempting to incite a 13-year-old girl to engage in sexual activity. Daniels was given just 21 months in prison, suspended for 2 years. That was back in April. A decision was made not to review his case. What about Ben Churcher from Wiltshire, who was given only 28 months in prison in January for raping a woman in her home? It's the same story. No review of that one either. Or take the infamous case of former BBC anchor Hugh Edwards. Well, he was caught with 41 images of child sexual abuse, wasn't he? Is he in jail? Nope. He's at home, sentenced to 6 months suspended sentences. That's suspended, by the way, yeah. He walked out of the courtroom. So let's get this straight. Call for violence in a tweet, that's prison time, rightfully so. Images of children being abused, that equals a suspended sentence. That is not justice, and I'm tired of the excuses. Context, mental health, it's complicated. No, it is not complicated. What's complicated about explaining to the British public why the courts throw the book at a working class mum and tiptoe around celebrities, race hustlers, child sexual abusers and radical clerics? There's more. There's more. Do you remember the BLM riots? Statues defaced, police assaulted, city centres trashed. How many prosecutions were there? Very few, and in some cases, none. Now flip that to the Kill the Bill protests, people who are protesting against these new policing laws of freedom of protesting. Suddenly, there's extremism. Suddenly, there's raids going on. And while we're at it, let's talk about grooming gangs. You know, the ones the authorities ignored for a decade because they didn't want to inflame racial tensions. Not my words, those are the exact words of police and social services. So working class white girls, mostly from the north, were sacrificed for what? For community cohesion. Two-tier justice isn't just some conspiracy theory, it's seemingly now becoming a state policy. Look at the Lammy Review. Black men are more likely to be stopped and searched. That is true. But why is it true? Because they're more likely to live in high crime areas. It's not racism, it's policing by reality. Yet instead of supporting the police, our courts bend over backwards to avoid the perception of bias. What is the result? Stabbings are up, murders are up, drug gangs are flourishing, all because we're afraid to offend people.